welcome back to another exciting episode of Starfleet Boy, where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Today, but we're not talking about Star Trek, and we're not on Starfleet Boy. This is Starfleet Boy After Dark. What did I do? I'm so dumb. Uh, welcome back to our exciting discussion of Wheel of Time, Season 1. Hello, hello. I'm joined by Braxton, who is our resident huge Wheel of Time fan. Braxton is so into it. I'm so happy you're here because it's going to be exciting to hear all about your thoughts on the season. And we have Robbie, who's also excited about it, who is here to join us to talk about this awesome series. So how are you guys doing today?
I'm well, thank you. Happy New Year. Hey,
Happy
Robbie.
New
Happy
Year.
New Year.
Happy New Year. I'm good. I'm just excited to be talking about this show
Excellent.
because Sohail kept going on about how good it was and that he was watching it, and I thought, is it going to live up to the hype? And then I watched it. I thought the first episode a bit generic. You know, you've got these Trollocs coming in. You've got this sorceress finding kind of like a chosen one type figure, and it seemed a bit generic. And then as it went on, I just fell in love with the show, really, because there's not a lot of fantasy shows that I watch, but I do really adore that genre.
Yeah, it's really good. Really briefly, do you guys want to? You kind of gave your first thoughts. Braxton, do you want to give your thoughts on Wheel of Time?
Oh, sure.
The whole, just like the whole season, like how you came into it, how you feel about it.
I feel like I was on Amazon, like just browsing something, and I was like, "Oh, Wheel of Time." I actually hadn't seen anything about it on Twitter. I just like stepped into a blonde, and so I love powerful witches, and I saw Moraine do the channeling, and she destroyed the trolls, and I was like, "Ooh," or the Trollocs, and I was like, "Ooh, wow."
That was
Uh,
episode 1, right? Like that, it starts out
mhm.
like that. Yeah, yeah. That was like
Yeah.
really powerful opening. That was.
hmm the so yeah, so like that was super compelling, like seeing like the Trollocs running through the town and like killing people, like it was so savage. So that actually really, really hooked me. But like I said, I like really powerful witches. You know, I also I liked Nine Eve from when I first saw her when she was like trying to protect um, Egwene as the Trollocs were attacking, and then they dragged her away, and I was like, oh damn, and then like her like getting away, and then killing the Trolloc in that pool of water. I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
but yeah, I really liked the show. The from the first episode, the Trollocs and Moraine really hooked me. I think that Rosamund Pike is amazing in the role.
Yeah, yeah. She's pretty awesome. The cast is really great. I loved all of them actually. I think Robbie wasn't too fond of Joshua Stradowski, who played Rand. But other than that, did you like most of the cast?
Yeah, I thought that most of the cast were pretty great, to be honest. Moraine is probably the standout because she gets across this wise figure, but she's cooler than Gandalf, and she's kind of not hip exactly, but she
She's
has
got a
this
Gandalf
wise.
vibe. You're right.
Yeah,
Dude, Rosamund Pike is acting her ass off, dude.
yeah.
Literally acting her ass off. Like when she's like doing the channeling, dude, and she's like act like this, dude. Like, oh my gosh, it's just amazing, you know. And the episode where, well, in the final episode, when like well, she wasn't channeling, but like when Egwene was standing there and like the one power was like moving through her, I noticed how she had like threw her hands back, and Moraine had been teaching her. So I was like, ooh, look at her like channeling like Moraine, like throwing her body around.
That's awesome. But carry on, Robbie.
Yeah,
What were you saying?
she she's not understated, but she definitely doesn't overact. Like when she's talking about the Dragon Reborn to the people that join her on her journey, she has like a sincerity and a seriousness in her eyes, and then she also has more light-hearted moments where she's well, mostly I feel like she gets across this kind of protector, kind of almost mentor persona that's just really interesting. And she's not a character that acts as if she's above anyone in the group, like Gandalf. Of course, I'm not going to try and compare this to Lord of the Rings, but Gandalf would sometimes be quite strict and quite severe. He'd raise his voice, whereas Moraine is she's very serious, and everyone in her group just treats her with a great level of respect. Rand, I think I didn't like Rand much because maybe it's because he had a kind of haircut that looked a bit like he could be in any other modern show. Like he could be in some modern college or something, or modern high school show, and he wouldn't be out of place. But then also,
he looks like he could fit in on Riverdale for sure. Like
yeah,
he could just
he's
walk
kind
on.
He's like a Riverdale quality actor, to be honest.
Interesting. I like those actors. I want that guy who plays Archie to play Captain Kirk. Aja, what's his name? AJ Kappa. I think he's like my number one pick for Captain Kirk. But anyways, sorry, Robbie, carry on.
The rest of the cast I think are brilliant. He's the only character that I didn't like. So to skip ahead, I assumed we were done with him when Moraine leaves him. I was told by someone who's read the books that we're not actually leaving him. That means that he's just going to have a different kind of journey next season. But I thought that show was just fantastic. I mean, it's obviously got a high budget. Everything looks just gorgeous, from all the villages and the interiors, just the detail. And yeah, look at all the outfits, and it's not the most realistic in how clean everything looks, if you know what I mean. Like I think it's just something of a modern show where the clothes they wear, even if it's supposed to be like from an old time, it looks very not bespoke, but you can tell it's a TV show.
Oh, gotcha. But I think aside from that, although like the costumes are very interesting because we get that revelation, I think, later on that like this is actually this second world came from like a very futuristic first world or whatever. The previous time that the dragon had been awake, they had like flying vehicles and stuff like that. It was like a different, the Aes Sedai were both men and women. Were like, right? Both men and women were Aes Sedai. It was like there was something, I don't know. Well, that's like way later. But really quickly before we get further into the show, I do want to point out, and you pointed it out too, the Wheel of Time series started with a bunch of books. And I think the first one came out in 1984. Is that right? The Eye of the World.
I think so.
I know.
Oh no, he began writing it in 84. Sorry, it was published in January of 1990. So yeah, The Eye of the World, which is the first one by Robert Jordan, by the way. This is a series by Robert Jordan. Was published in 1990. So it's been around for a little while. So it's been a long time coming for it to be made into a TV series, I guess, which is cool, or a movie. Did you know about the books before you guys saw the show?
No, I didn't. I wouldn't call.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. There's a lot.
After I saw the first 3 episodes, I looked up on my Kindle store the books, and there are 14 novels, which is quite a lot. But I think I'm going to try and read them eventually. I've got a whole load of lists, a whole big list of Star Trek books, so it might be a while, but I'm going to try and read through it.
I have been so into the lore of the Wheel of Time. It has a big online community, like a lot of YouTubers and stuff. And so I've listened to like character analyses of some of the characters. And an interesting thing that I heard on Critter XD's channel. She was saying that in her interpretation of the books, like the kids in the books are like 15, 16, like 90s, like 20. And from like their perspective, Moraine is like all knowing and so powerful. But then when it comes to her perspective, she's really unsure and she doesn't know like what she's doing and she makes mistakes and stuff.
Oh, I
You
think that
know?
comes across a little bit in the series, like, uh, well, but then they, of course, then they have like moments where they doubt her and question her and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like, and then she does show that doubt. Like, you do kind of get the impression that Moraine's kind of like, making it up as she goes along a little bit, which is, which I always like. We have Jude here in the audience, which is cool. Nice to see you, Jude, who says this is a pleasant surprise. I'm glad we could surprise you. It was a little bit. We planned it, but then I slept in today because we did a 6-hour Starfleet Boy After Dark stream last night. Which, by the way, Robbie has a good trick if you just want to hear it and not, listen to it in real time. If you go 2x, you'll finish it in 3 hours. So you might want to try that when you listen back to it. But we had a great time last night. Thank you for everyone who joined us. I think Blue's here. Blue was there last night as well, and so was Ruben, of course. And it was just a really fun time. Ruben says that the 8 episodes of the show cost $80 million to make, so that's pretty good.
Mhm.
It's like $10 million, I guess, per episode, which seems like a pretty good budget to me. And it shows. I mean, the show has like really good like quality in terms of like filming and editing, and the effects are really good too. I like the effects. Like the city looks cool, and all the fantastical elements came together really well. Ruben says 14 books, which we pointed out. Finished off by Brandon Sanderson, who has a great series on YouTube about writing. Oh, that's cool. We'll have to check that out. Yeah, I'm seeing they have them in order of I guess the order of like how it's supposed to be. There's a prequel that is set 20 years before the events of the first novel called New Spring. But otherwise, Eye of the World, The Great Hunt, and The Dragon Reborn, those 3 books are the subject of this first series. So we get, in the first series, we get those 3 books. So I imagine the next series, series 2, will be The Shadow Rising, The Fires of Heaven, and Lords of Chaos, which I know nothing about. But these titles are great. Book 7 is called A Crown of Swords. Book 8 is called The Path of Daggers. 9 is called Winter's Heart. I just think it's cool that if, all of this happened in just the first 3 books, like I'm very curious to see where the whole series goes. So I'm excited. I hope, you guys know if it was greenlit for season 2? I think it was, right?
2 and 3.
Oh, 2 and 3. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
awesome. That's really cool. Jude
Does
says,
anyone
oh, go ahead, Robbie.
does anyone have a favorite character?
Moraine is my favorite character, I think. I like her the best.
So for me, I can't decide between Nynaeve, Egwene, and Moraine. I feel like I like all
All
three
3 of them.
really equally. Yeah.
What about you,
Yeah,
Robbie?
like-
I think Moraine is she is so cool, and the actress who's playing her is just amazing. She's so captivating in all her performances because she's not over the top. I think she strikes the right balance, and when she's like, even if has a reaction shot, she just does them really effectively. I think, to be fair though, because Moraine might be the obvious choice, I'd probably go for Egwene.
Mhm. Yeah, the young lady who's playing Egwene is doing really well. Um, you know, so the actress who plays Moraine, like she just hits like all the right notes. Like, you know, I don't know. I just think she's amazing. I think her channeling is amazing. Like, she's like always like Moraine is like always holding something back, and I feel like the delivery of the actress really brings that out. I think that she looks like so beautiful when she like gets up in like that blue dress, like she looks like so graceful, Yeah, that actress is amazing.
Jude says it's supposed to be a late Renaissance style society to the clothes, so the clothes should look hundreds of years more developed than, say, Game of Thrones. And Blue says, I like the Queen Lady. I think you're talking about the Amerlin seat,
Hmm.
right? Because
Yeah.
that's the only one who was like kind of a queen, right? Yeah. I
Mhm.
want to see her full power. I want to see her full power too. I can't imagine what the Amerlin seat can do because she's pretty powerful. Although they did say that um, what's her name is the most powerful that they've seen natural channeler since the Amerlin seat, right?
Who?
I've,
Nani?
Nynaeve, yeah, thank you. I think
They said that Nynaeve was like the one of the most powerful channels that they've seen in like the last 1,000 years, dude.
yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, then yeah, that's gonna be
Hmm.
interesting to see
Yeah.
like where that goes. Let's go ahead and talk about episode one real quick. It was called Leave Taking, and the synopsis is: a strange noblewoman arrives in a remote mountain village, claiming one of five youths is the reincarnation of an ancient power who once destroyed the world and will do so again. If she's not able to discover which of them it is, but they all have less time than they think. So she comes over to this village. It's like a happy-go-lucky kind of village we see, right? Like it's just got like a nice little groove going. People are just like, living their life, right? Like I can't remember. I haven't seen it in a while, so I'm trying to remember. But basically, she comes to this village, and all five of these people are potentially the Dragon Reborn, and so she's like letting them know that they have to leave, and then all of a sudden they get an invasion by the Trollocs. Everyone's fighting. What's his name kills his wife. What was the character's name? I forget right now. Hold on. Oh, Perrin.
Heron.
Perrin kills his freaking wife. They all like flee the village to save it from the Trollocs, and that's how it ends, right? They all leave at the end. Oh, Moraine is injured, and so she was stabbed by a Trolloc blade, and so now it's slowly poisoning her, and they have to get to the tower to bring the five to the Emerald Seat. So it kicks us off right away and gets us into the adventure. What did you guys think of that first episode?
Don't forget the Nynaeve got dragged off by the Trollocs as
Oh,
well.
that's right. Nynaeve
Mhm.
gets dragged off by
Mhm.
the Trollocs in that episode too. Yeah, it's chaos. It leaves us in a state of chaos.
So, like I said before, that episode got me off. It got me hooked. Like when Moraine said, "Light, give me strength," and then she like threw up her hands, dude, and like put them
Let
down,
me
and
see if
then
I
the
can
thunder
find.
started coming down. I was like, "Ooh, wow, dude, she's
Oh, I think I
bad,
have
dude."
it.
Um, and then like Lan was defending her as like the Trollocs who were close. He was killing them, and she was like destroying the ones that were like further away. I thought it was so like she hit us with the lightning first, and then she like raised up like all those. She like took like the bricks out of like buildings and stuff, and like hurled it at the Trollocs. Dude, I was like, ooh, wow. And then I I first thought that maybe like Nani was like um Egwene's like sister or something, like the way that she was protecting her against, from the Trolloc with like the knife. And then I felt so bad when she got drug away. But that first episode definitely hooked me.
Nice. What about you, Robbie?
I think I was just captivated by the Trollocs. Something wrong with my microphone.
No, you sound fine.
Okay. Um, I think one of my favorite scenes in that episode is when Moraine, tells the people that could be any of them could be the Dragon Reborn, and then there's that guy that escapes with them across the kind of it's like a not quite a bridge, but there's like a
Mhm. He's like
platform.
the
Um,
little keeper of the boat. Yeah.
yeah, and Moraine says that they can't have him along with them because he's a liability, and you know what's at stake is more important. And I can't remember exactly how it happens, but I think Moraine leaves him on the or he wants to go after back to his family or something, and Moraine says that they have to leave him because he's a liability and their journey is more important along those kind of lines, and it kind of wakes up these people to the fact that, and the Trollocs, that this is a serious situation. We have to trust Moraine. She's this character who's just used these magical powers and burst into their lives and maybe disrupted their lives and taken them away from their families, but the Trollocs and that moment probably woke them up to their reality, and that they have to just kind of go with what Moraine says, and they have a new life now.
I like the moment when she first walks into the hall, like where everyone's like that like restaurant hall place, or whatever. And some people are like treating her with like great like respect, other people are very suspicious of her. It's like the Aes Sedai have this like reputation, kind of, but they're very excuse me, they're very respected, but they're feared as well, because weren't they like, oh, an Aes Sedai could turn the battle on their own, like could turn a battle on their own. There's all kinds of like interesting things about him. Jude in the comments is asking, what do we think about this character, which is I think it's Padden Fane, the peddler in the first episode. Now, doesn't he comes back and proves to be someone else, right? Like,
dude, I did not think anything of Padden Fane except that I was like, oh, dude, like that. Like his wig reminded me of a wig that Dave Chappelle wore in like a skit that he did. So like, but dude, Padden Fane is so like, it's so shifty. But I thought his wig was funny. That's the only thing I thought about him in the first episode.
yeah, in the first episode, I didn't think he was going to be what he ends up being, which is like I guess like a lieutenant of the Dark One, right? Like, what is he like, or is he the Dark One? What actually ends up? What is he in the books? Like, what is he?
I think he's just a human. He's a human.
Okay.
He can't channel. He's just like a hustler and like a dark friend because he's a hustler.
Right, and there, I guess you call people who are friends of the Dark Lord like the dark friends. That's cool. Like that. Like,
dark friends,
yeah. Interesting, very cool. But yeah, here he is. He's just kind of like around from episode 1, and I didn't know he was gonna end up coming back. That was a big surprise.
And he and Matt are hustlers. Like they're hustlers chatting, dude, about a hustle.
I watch and find out. Oh, like, well, I mean, we'll have to see in season 2, right? Because they don't really tell us much more about him. But yeah, like, he's an interesting character. Jude, have you read all the books, or are you a huge fan of the books?
In the book Starfleet Boy, for instance, like, so they are changing things. So like the blade that Matt has, like in the books, like Padden Fane, like goes into the White Tower and somehow he like is able to steal it, and he like stabs a few people, and those people like the sword, like the blade in the books, like if you even get like a little like slice from it, like it will like rotten you, and you'll just be like a rotten pile of flesh. You just
Right.
like.
And what was the name of that? I guess that goes into episode. Is it episode 2 where we go into that like?
Oh no!
Oh no!
I feel like we're a ways from that. Are we? Because episode 2, isn't that like the Logain cold open? We see Logain come in and like, kill the king's people, and then like, oh no, that's the one where the cold open is Nynaeve getting away, right?
Right, I think so, on episode 2. So that's called Shadows Waiting. The official synopsis for that one was, do you remember, Robbie? It was Moraine and Lan lead the 4. Oh, one thing before we move on to episode 2. It was great. The hot tub scene with Moraine and Lan was really great. Just FYI, I liked it.
Oh, can I just say one last thing?
Yeah.
Episode 1 is where Rand is talking to Egwene at the end, at the rocks, isn't it? About their kind of love thing.
Oh, like where she kind of tells them her plans.
Mm-hmm.
And Yeah, I think that happens in episode 1.
Mm,
Oh no,
yeah,
we're
it
such a
does.
bad panel. Our audience is gonna have to remind us.
Yeah, I think that's partly why I didn't like Rand, and I have nothing against romance. It's just he seemed like such a maybe he wasn't a wooden character, and it was just the actor was making him seem more one-dimensional, or maybe it was because he was paired against Egwene, who was actually acting pretty well, and he was just very kind of, oh, I'm attracted to you, and I'm kind of he didn't have a lot of depth, at least in his face and his acting, and so I was hoping that he wouldn't be the Dragon Reborn.
But he was. So your
Yeah,
hopes were dashed.
why? Because I thought, imagine it was someone interesting like Egwene or Nynaeve, who's had, to be honest, more development across the show. I would actually feel more for that character being the Dragon Reborn, and it would be like a great twist. Whereas when I found out it was Rand, I was just like, I kind of sighed, oh, that could have been better. Or even someone really close to um, Moraine, like, oh, I don't know his name, the kind of guy who is always walking around with her.
Oh, her
Who's-
ward.
Lamb,
Her yeah,
Lamb,
Lon
her
or
water, yeah.
Lon. Yeah, her warder. No, I mean, yeah, that would have been an interesting twist as well. But I kind of like that it was he was the one I least suspected. The whole time I was thinking it was going to be Matt
Mm,
or Perrin or even Egwene. The show did catch me a little by surprise. Like now I know nothing about the books. I didn't, and I haven't gone down the YouTube rabbit hole, so I'm just going based on like what I saw in the show or like what I was watching on the show and everything. And to me, I was like pleasantly surprised. I was kind of like, whoa, okay, yeah.
that would
Although
have been
the Go
sorry.
ahead.
That would have been so dark if it had been Perrin, because that would have been a very interesting way to go. Because it's almost as if it's set up that Perrin would seem like he is, because he accidentally killed. It was his dad, right?
Mm, no,
His
his
wife.
wife.
Oh, his wife. That was I'm mixing up Rand's scene with his dad.
Oh
Um,
right.
his so he killed his wife, and then he has this guilt, and he's kind of mopey for quite a lot, and he feels so bad that he's killed his wife. And then I thought, oh, if he's the Dragon Reborn, maybe that could tie into his revenge or something upon the group. Maybe there's something to do with that death. Maybe he has some kind of darkness, and he's actually been kind of pretending that he is sad about his wife and doesn't actually care, because otherwise it seemed like, well, I suppose it was just character development, but I thought, is there really any other reason that he could be kind of mopey? It just seems like a perfect kind of um, story for him, and it could have been really dark actually if he had been that person, because he seemed to come from such a empathetic place, and he seemed very not understanding, but he didn't seem very. He seemed a bit broken after that.
Mhm.
It
Perrin's wife, like if you rewatch the scene, Perrin's wife, like her hands were like up like this, and she had a weapon in her hands. Like I feel like what happened was that his wolf senses like protected him. He knew that there was a danger like right behind him, and he like struck. But she did have her hands up like this. I feel like we're gonna find out that like she was like a dark friend or something.
hmm. Hmm. Uh in Shadows Waiting, I guess we meet do we meet those characters, the knights, like what were they called again?
Who did?
In the episode Shadows Waiting, don't we meet those knights? The what are they called? You right, don't we encounter Damn it! What's the character's name?
Oh,
Remind me.
the light guys.
The
Ooh,
light
yeah.
guys. Yeah,
It
yeah. Don't
opened
wait.
with like the woman with her hands cut off.
Right,
Dude.
right. Yeah, that was like a
Oh
crazy opening.
yeah,
Yeah. So,
Child Volda and the
oh,
Children
Eamon.
of the Light.
Yeah, Valda. Yeah, that's right. That's what it was. Played by Abdul Salas, who's a good actor. I really like him.
Ooh, he's
He's
so
very devious.
sinister.
Yeah, and sinister. Yeah, he
Yeah,
did a
he's
really good
sinister.
job.
Cut off that poor woman's hands, dude.
Wait, let me see if I have an image of him here. Hold on. I think I do. But yeah, what did you think of those guys? The white cloaks, as they're called.
I thought they were righteous and scary. Um, that Child Volda is acted wonderfully. Like he just delivers this like cold cruelty, and he thinks that he's right. So like I was seeing them as evil, but they're actually not. They're just like righteous and doing what they're doing. But he's like um, he's super good
Yeah,
at
and
acting.
here, yeah, he's really good, and I like their whole like deal. Like they're just like kind of monk knights, I guess, in a weird way. Like they're kind of like it's similar to this like religious order that's also a knight, like the Templars or whatever from history. Like there's been different organizations like that, and
I don't
so
think they're good at fighting though, because they were killed by like those wolves.
that's true.
Like,
That's a
How
good
could you fight with that kind of cloak on? And also, it seems this is just a nitpick, but it seems not the most practical to have a white cloak in the woods. Um,
But yeah, I guess that's a good point. This scene was so intense, though, wasn't it? Remember when they
mm.
encounter them?
Oh, I worried so much for Moraine. There were
Yeah.
stakes because we saw like he had a ring of Aes Sedai rings, and we saw the woman with her hands cut off.
Oh yeah, he had all the freaking Aes Sedai rings.
Mm,
That's right. That
mm.
was also a very nice payoff when they kill they kill him later on, and then Egwene takes the rings back to the tower and they melt them.
Mhm.
That was like a right. Isn't that what happens?
Yeah,
Like yeah.
mm.
She gets it, gives it back to them and stuff like that. But
That was beautiful.
here they are posing. But so this one guy has like hold on, let me get this picture up here. This one guy has like this is why I say they're like knights. They have all this armor,
Hmm.
and like so I feel like they could be fighters and they have like these like leather, belts and things like that, but yeah, I mean they didn't last long against the wolves. They were caught a little bit off
Dude,
guard,
read
but
the
that
synopsis. What else happened in episode 2?
oh, hold on. So the synopsis says, let's see what it says here. Moraine and Lan lead the four villagers to safety, unsure which is the one from the prophecy, but the friends are equally unsure about their rescuers, especially once they see how far Moraine is willing to go for her mission and how far astray Lan is willing to lead them. So what happens? What was that? How far is she willing to go thing? I forget about that part.
I don't remember this episode as being
It's
like so
clearly.
eventful. Yeah.
Let's see. What did she do that made them like wonder? Was it when they were at the when they were at that like resting place maybe and oh and then they started having the visions of the dark one too. That was crazy. Uh but yeah, okay, so I was wondering Shadow City does happen in episode 2, I feel like. But maybe it's
remember,
episode 3.
remember,
No, it
Perrin
is
had
episode 2.
the.
It is episode 2.
I feel like
Go ahead, Tom.
Perrin had a bad dream, didn't he? In one of the episodes. Um. Yeah, remember Perrin had some kind of.
They all kind of have dreamt of, which by the way I'm trying to find his face. It's such a scary image that they used for the dark one throughout. Whenever you would have dreams about him, that face, that awful face with the red eyes. Do you remember, guys?
Oh, the red face. Like the
Oh
fiery eyes, you mean? Like
yeah, yeah.
oh yeah, that was scary, dude. That was
It was
good.
freaking me out. Hold on, I'm trying to
Hmm.
find a picture. Here he is. This is so freaky. Um,
Mm.
But just as again, not having read the novels, this episode in particular reminded me a lot of the Lord of the Rings because the city kind of reminded me. There's a cursed
Mm.
city. There's a couple of like things like that in Lord of the Rings, but I think
Mm.
the city of Minas Morgul, I think, might be like a cursed city, like that. Everyone in the town went bad, and and then of course we have the ghost army
Mhm.
that comes across. So I got that vibe here. This is the most. I feel like you can't really escape that nowadays. Like Lord of the Rings was such a influential. The films were so influential in the way that they brought this fantastical imagery to life that you can't help but kind of have that vibe and stuff like that.
These scenes in this city were really good. Like I love when like Moraine like came to and Lamb was like, and she was like, oh, like where are we? And he was like, oh, like we're in this place, and she was like, oh, you've killed us all, you know.
Right,
And then like
right.
we see like the horse like disintegrates and like turns into ash, and like yeah, this was a good these were some good scenes here. Like
Yeah,
Matt
very
being like
scary.
tempted by the blade, and he knows he's been told like don't Moraine said don't touch anything, and so he's been told like don't touch anything, but he's such a fucking thief that he just had to pick up. he just
Yes, it's so true.
he just
I re-
he just had to pick up that knife. He's like, ooh, I know this is worth like $500, dude. Like,
I know this is worth like $500.
I remember thinking before they went in when it was just a big
Crack. It was
you
like
know
a crack, right? Yeah.
yeah, it was a big circular enclosure. I thought they shouldn't go in there because there were so many people that were around them that were staying back, and I thought,
Well,
the
yeah, and
Trollocs wouldn't go
the
in.
Trollocs wouldn't go in. Like
yeah,
that
yeah,
was
and
that's like a sign when you see that you're like, oh shit, like these
I was like,
guys are
why are
scary
they
and
going
won't come
straight through? And I thought, could it be some kind of? I was just speculating before they went inside, and I thought, is it some kind of like tournament area or something? And then it turned out to be a dark, magical, cursed place.
And then it
Oh,
turned into like Indiana Jones, like
Yeah,
as they relief, everybody's running, like they're like scaling obstacles.
oh
And
yeah, they have to get out of there. And then they get
Mhm.
separated, which is kind of like the ending. So we have Moraine, Len, and Nynaeve together, right? They end up on going in one direction. We have Egwene and Perrin go off in another direction, and then we have Matt and Rand go off into another direction. So that was the end, I think, right, of season 2 of Shadows Waiting. So I thought I'm surprised that I can't remember. It's kind of fun talking about this because I couldn't remember, but like a lot happens in episode 1 and 2. That's pretty wild. There's like a lot
Yeah,
that they go through.
it's off to a strong start, I think, with 1 and 2.
So let's go on. Anything else to say about episode 2, guys?
So Nynaeve is already free? Like Nynaeve already killed the Trolloc?
Well, no. So, oh, you're right. So, I think
Because I don't think.
Nynaeve arrives in episode 3 because we get. You're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, a
Right.
place of safety. She arrives, right, and then she's. That's when she and Lan start having their flirtations, like through their a little bit of, like when they're fighting a little bit, right? Like I feel like that's that episode.
So what? That's episode 3.
Yeah, I think it's called a place of yeah, place. Oh no, it's Nynaeve does show up at the very last scene of episode 2, and then we get more. Yeah, so she does show up in episode 2 at the end.
Okay, okay. Nynaeve's scene was amazing when she escaped from the Trolloc. Like the Trolloc like let her go for a second to like eat another Trolloc's entrails.
Oh
And then she
right, yeah.
like started running for her life. Like it reminded me of like I don't even know, dude. It reminded me of like some like escape scene. Oh, I think it reminded me of like Predator or something. I feel like I could see Arnold Schwarzenegger like jumping out of some water to like stab a predator like after he's been like hiding from it.
Right on. I like
Um,
that.
but I absolutely loved that she was triumphant in that scene. I was like, ooh, yeah, like look at her. She's got like a lot of power.
Right. Right, she does. She's very good. Well, I mean, she doesn't do her thing yet, but yeah, that was a really good part. Hold on. So let me put up the banner here. A Place of Safety is the next episode, and
Mm.
the synopsis reads: Moraine and Lan find help in an unexpected and unwanted quarter as the separated villagers try to find their way back to each other, or at least to refuge. But they all soon learn how far the Dark One's reach extends. So in that episode, let me pull it up here.
Is this the cold open with Logain or no?
Let's see
I
here.
don't remember anything that happened in episode three.
Do you remember, Robbie?
Um, I can't remember if this was episode 3 or 4. All I remember is there was that scene where they were Nynaeve and no, it was Egwene and Rand that were no, it was Egwene and Perrin that were in this kind of very dead. Um,
Oh, Logain is the false dragon, right?
hmm
He does show up in that episode, in episode 3.
Okay, then oh, he shows up like that in episode three.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so this is when we meet Leandrin. We meet Leandrin in episode three, like the one with the like the all the bone structure, the red Asadar. Uh-huh.
oh,
And so, oh yeah, so a place of safety. So then they meet up with them. They are traveling to the White Tower. But this is when like the woman Karini, like, is this when Karini heals Moraine in this episode, or is it episode four? I don't remember.
I can't remember either.
Hmm. Okay.
Um, Jude says Gleeman episode. Matt robs a dead guy,
Oh yeah. He took an object? What? I don't know what that magic object was.
and also Karina's episode 4. Wow, Jude, you should come on our panel. You should totally come on. You are doing a great job helping. Thank you, Jude.
I think Marines cast a spell on us where we forget.
To
Um,
forget.
But it was cool that in one of those episodes, like one of those cold opens was Logain like storming the castle of that king, and then like ending up like sparing his life, and then like the king and like the king got allegiance from the king, and so those were his soldiers. Like I thought it was interesting to see how powerful Logain was. I thought that the CG of his weaves was really interesting to see, like the one power you see it like the regular one power,
Right.
you see the corrupted, the tainted
Yeah,
one power. I thought it was
yeah,
really
it's
cool.
true. That was a great scene. You're right. That was like really cool. I forgot about that.
Hmm.
oh, so
We also go ahead.
this is after they've escaped the wolves, right? Yeah, there was that really epic sequence where Perrin and Egwene somewhat miraculously escaped wolves, and then they came across
Well, remember
these
that one
guys.
wolf was like checking him out, like saying like, "Oh, I know what you are," or something like that. It was like
Hmm.
they kind of escaped, but they kind of were let go, maybe.
So they were running from the wolves, but they didn't actually need to be afraid. Like the
Mm.
wolves weren't going to hurt them.
I liked the guy next to the right of Egwene. I thought he had a nice energy to his portrayal.
Oh, the
Well,
Tinkers.
yeah,
Yeah,
all these
yeah,
all these people were cool, like the gypsies. I call them the gypsies, but they're not gypsies. What were they? What
They're
did you
the
say? they-
Tinkers.
The Tinkerers.
Mhm.
I thought they were going to be some kind of demented weirdos that were going to try and stop Egwene and Perrin or capture them or something, because I don't know if the director was going for that kind of tone, because when you just see them kind of walking up towards Perrin and Egwene, and Perrin and Egwene just look really confused. It was like, is this going to cut to some kind of scene where they're trying to try and pretend to get along, and then you realize that they had some kind of malicious agenda, but they turned out to just be nice people. I was probably being a bit skeptical. They were just nice people.
Yeah, they ended up being really cool. I like their character. I like they had the way of the leaf, right? Which was the whole thing of like the leaf can get crushed or like whatever, but it keeps, like it was cool. They were pacifists basically, right? Like
Yeah.
they didn't believe in fighting. And I like that they held it was pretty sad though when they had to escape later on, when Perrin and Egwene have to escape later on, and they hold the line, against them, and they're getting like basically like either slaughtered or stuff, for them, and but then they end up getting caught anyways, which is which is terrible, but yeah.
The next episode, is that the one where Rand is like in a kind of town, and he goes, there's the bartender that seems nice, and then she's actually she turns out to be
Yeah, I think that's Matt, and and they meet that other character there, but yeah, let's so Braxton says he'll be right back, but we'll wait for him a little bit. But what else did you remember about this episode?
I just remembered loving, well, if I remember correctly, Perrin and Egwene at the start were considering, not, maybe I'm making this up, were they considering splitting up, or they were going to go the wrong way? They were trying to decide which way they were going to go.
Oh yeah, because like they conclude to go toward the tower, but Matt wants to go back, right? Like there's like a little thing, and then he convinces, I guess he gets convinced to go back to go to the tower with Rand.
Yeah, I thought it was really well shot when the wolves were chasing Egwene and Perrin, because it was like the camera was shot from above the eagle's eye view.
They can't run that damn fast, dude. Those wolves would have caught their ass so fast there.
Yeah.
I was trying to suspend belief because like the wolves were running so fast. I was like, you know what, dude? Like, no. Egwene and Perrin could not run that fast, especially not Egwene.
Oh, it's in this episode that they meet the dark friend bartender. So it is episode 3.
Okay. Well, that was great. I loved the whole vibe, because she seemed a bit, I didn't know if they were going to go for a flirty angle between Rand and the bartender. It seemed a bit like that to me.
But Jude's reminded me that was a funny scene. She gives them a room so they can have a little slap and tickle because she thought they were lovers, Matt and Rand.
Oh yeah, yeah.
She's like, I don't care what you guys do. Like, it's really funny.
I thought that was funny too, dude. Yeah.
I love it. I wonder if the books are like that. I love the openness that you would think this like past culture, like it kind of throws you off a little that you have this like very like, medieval Renaissance looking culture, but they're very open about sexuality, because it's not the first time it comes up. I feel like there was dialogue that showed that people were very like kind of, fluid, if you will, or just like it wasn't a big deal in this world that, you could be I think it felt like they were like, very open to bisexuality, which was interesting.
So so this is supposed to be like Earth, and from my understanding, from what some of the people who read the book say, that like this is like Earth's like a third age, So like
it's like the third time the world's been remade or whatever, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like we saw how futuristic things were in like the second age, and then like the world got broken, and now it's this, Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Anything else about a place of safety this episode before we move on to the next one?
I love the chase sequence. If I remember correctly, this was the one with the chase sequence at nighttime when the bartender, um, did she take? I think she took like a cone with. I feel like I'm making some stuff up. She took a
No,
cone with fire, um,
she does
burning
something
on it.
where yeah, she like signals the dark one basically and
Mm.
lets them know where they
Yeah,
are and
that
stuff like that. Yeah.
And
that
I
was just
totally
a
wasn't.
great twist.
I totally wasn't expecting her to get a knife through the mouth like that, dude. That really took me by surprise.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. So Jude, Braxton just answered your question. So what did you all think of the Gleeman song and the knife through the throat? Yeah, that was crazy. I don't remember the Gleeman song.
Me either.
Do you remember it, Robbie?
No, I just remember the really gory blood kind of. It was really great. The blood squirting out of her throat. Like I thought, I was trying to look for imperfections. Like, can you see like some kind of prosthetic or something? But it was really well acted because she seemed so kind of um careless at first, and then she just turns into this kind of fierce, aggressive character that he's running after Rand. It was
Mm.
quite. It was quite. I was like, wow, that's. I didn't expect that at all.
She was a beautiful, curvy actress. I thought she did a really good job. I couldn't tell that she was not friendly until she trapped Rand, and she really got what she deserved, being a dark friend, selling that boy out like that. But I thought the actress did a good job. I thought she was a beautiful actress, and I feel like it's not like really that common to see curvy younger actresses, and that stuck out to me.
Yeah, it's cool. I am watching the Gleeman song right now, and Jude says it's not important, so carry on. But I I'm digging it. I totally forgot the scene. I remember it now that I'm watching it, but I do like the song. It reminds me of the Rings of Castamere a little bit in the tone or the vibe of it from Game of Thrones. But also it's cool. It has like a more modern kind of like a folk songy type of vibe to it. It's cool. Everyone's
Mhm.
listening very intently. I gotta watch this episode. I gotta watch the whole series again. It's like I
Dude, me
feel like I
too.
missed like the whole like I missed a lot of little points. So it's very cool. Too bad we can't share it on this stream here. We'll get a copyright um uh in infringement. But yeah, it does actually look like the lyrics are relevant because he's talking about like the whole world breaking and stuff like that in the song. So it's pretty cool.
Mm.
Yeah, it looks good. I'm glad I pulled it up here. Next episode is the Dragon Reborn. This was like, I remember you flipping out about this episode, right?
Dude, so I said that this was the episode, or no, I said the first episode hooked me. This was the episode that, oh my god, it just like my mind just exploded. Like at the end of the episode, like I was just like, oh my gosh, dude, it was just amazing, dude. So I feel like all I remember about this one is the battle. I loved seeing, like, because they had Logain, like, you know, uh, what's the term that they use? Not trapped. Like they had the shield over him, and it took them like all the strength. It took like three Aes Sedai, to like be able to like contain Logain, and so there was like the battle. Unfortunately, like the king and all his men were killed following the false dragon Logain. We got to see. I forget what the Aes Sedai who killed them, what her name was, but she was really good. It was really cool to see her powers, how she like stopped the arrows and then like brought them
Yeah.
down. You know, and then we had Nynaeve's very powerful act of magic. I thought this episode was great.
Yeah, this episode was really cool because we get a lot of information about the Aes Sedai. We get to meet more of them. We get to see how they work, like how they're like they have these different divisions. Like there's the red ones, the yellow ones, the green ones, and the blue ones. Right? Those are all or brown. There's brown ones as well. I
Mhm.
think, like which is very reminiscent again of the Lord of the Rings because the wizards in that are different colors. Like there's Gandalf the gray, Saruman the white. You know, there's Radagast the red, I think, and then there's the blue wizard, or they're twins. I think there's two blue wizards or something like that. And so they have an interesting. They're a little different because the Maiar, as they're called, I think in Lord of the Rings, are actually like immortal beings, but that they can manifest as these old wise wizard looking beings, and so that's kind of how they come into it. But yeah, I just loved hearing. I just loved getting more of the Aes Sedai. We met other warders. Um, uh, you know, is it the one that dies? It's her warder. We get a lot of his story,
Mhm.
and that's a nice little kind of thing that we'll get more of in the next in the next episode and stuff like that. Well, it's sad actually. It's not nice, but it's like
Kareem and Stephen.
right, exactly. And so yeah, good call, Robbie. What did you think of this episode?
This is episode 4. Yeah.
Yeah, the Dragon Reborn, and the synopsis is Moraine struggles with uncertainty while Lan struggles with their new companion, who is wow, what's
The new
wrong with me?
companion? Who's the new companion?
It's what's her face?
Nani?
Naive, thank you. Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to remember the episode.
No, it's Naive. That's who they're talking about. Rand wonders about Matt. Wonders, sorry, about Matt. Egwene and Perrin take their first steps down a different path. An incredible new power is unleashed on the world. So yeah, that's the reference to Nynaeve, using her power at the end.
Hmm. Yeah, the battle was really cool in this episode, and then like '90s, like what was it called? It was called like the power of like it was like the act of like radiant sun or something like that. You know, they were like, ooh, like we've never seen anybody do that, or it's been like so long, and she like brought everyone back to life.
Right. Oh, they
Um,
were gentling. They were doing this thing called gentling, which I thought was interesting. Like to the dark one, I mean to the false dragon, and that's what they do to men is they gentle them. They take away their magical powers.
So
yeah,
we're
we
talking
saw
about
like
episode 4.
That's right. The Dragon
Yeah.
Reborn.
I'm just going to search up the episode for an image because I did watch the episode. I don't know why I can't remember.
mhm.
Um,
But dude, this is when they had Logain. They had him shielded, the three Aes Sedai,
Mm-hmm.
and then he like broke, and then like gosh. So what
They all
happened
had
to
to do it.
where?
They had to like
oh
watch him.
yeah,
They had to watch
yeah.
him
Mhm.
three at a time, and he was because he was so powerful. The false dragon was so powerful that he could actually like break free, and you could see them like there were these cool like things about like the effect that they use like with the shield, like you could see like points like being broke, like it was cool. It was neat how they like use their magic, and it looked very kind of somewhat architectural in that scene, which was pretty cool. And then
Yeah.
there's that huge fight basically with the forces of the Aes Sedai and the forces of the false dragon, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, and so that was like it's a big episode. It was pretty big.
Oh, it is, dude. Like, and yeah, and that was when like Logain like shot the two projectiles or something at Leandrin and no at Moraine, and then Carini like jumped in front of her, and so like her water like felt her like life energy like drain or something. He knew something on the battlefield, so he like comes in, and then he like dives at Logain with his two axes, and then like Logain somehow like the axes just like shatter and then just like spray and just like hurt and mutilate everyone with their shards. And everyone's lying like dead and dying. Like Lan has had his throat cut, and like Nynaeve is like, "Oh my god, like my man." and she like went over and she put her hands on him, and then her in a desperate act, dude, she just like performed an act of like
Explodes.
radiant
Yeah.
sun, you know, and it was like blinding light, and like her braids like were standing out like this, dude, and then
trying to
everyone
find
was
a
healed. It was
picture.
amazing.
Let's
It
see.
Oh,
was.
this was a great episode.
Yeah, it's really awesome. That ending was powerful. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
This was the one I was mistaken for the first episode where Rand was talking to Egwene on the um, rock face. That was this episode, not episode 1. I've just got
guess-
it all muddled.
I guess I don't remember this, but Jude says we find out Moraine gets emotional when Lan drinks. So I guess that's to show how their bond is, and like that she's able to feel that. Did you guys think up until Lan meets Nynaeve, I thought that there would be like a romance between the warder and their, like it's a very intimate relationship, but it's not a romantic relationship. But I thought it was still going to show that they were like lovers, or that they like, like were partners in a romantic way. But I kind of love that the warders and the Aes Sedai can't have that bond. Like they can never be, right? They don't.
That's not always true.
Oh, that's not always true. Okay, my bad.
Because the one who is kind of gluttonous, there's one who like is always eating. Like the one who brings the arrows down on the dudes, like she has sex with her waters, and her waters have sex together too, dude.
Oh, okay, never
mind. Alana.
Okay, I didn't catch that. See, you gotta watch it. I totally gotta go watch it again.
So the relationships, I think, can be different.
They can be fluid. Of course, we find out also later that Moraine has a partner, has a lover, and so we'll get to that later. But I like.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I thought that was fantastic, because the actress who was playing, what did they call her? The White Tower kind of.
The Emerald Seat swan song.
Yeah, the actress was just brilliant, and she had the quality where she could play off of Moraine, because they were both just really on point. The way she was being so authoritative towards Moraine, and then you find out in that episode that she's pretending that she wants to cast out Moraine when she actually has feelings for Moraine, but she can't show those feelings. And then they have that great scene in the bedroom where they're just talking it out, and I think was she doing something with Moraine's hair? Oh, there was some. What was it that? I'm trying to think.
Oh, there was the whole thing with she had to. They had to. Well, that we'll talk about that later. But like the bond, basically the unbreakable.
Oh yeah.
Like bond or whatever. Going back to this episode for a second, there's that picture of Nynaeve displaying her power. Her epic power.
The braids aren't even out yet. That's only
hold
the
on.
dude.
You're like find the picture with the braids. It's true. I forgot it. We gotta find it. Hold on.
Dude, that's the before right there, dude.
That's
everybody just captured it in your mind.
That looks painful.
The thing that I appreciate, that I like about like Nynaeve, like I feel like the way that the actress perform the scenes, like I feel like she's performing these acts of magic like with her heart, like she is so caring, and she wants to like take care of people and preserve life. I like Nynaeve. I hope that in the show she becomes like a yellow Aes Sedai, like because the yellow are the healers.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's insane healing. Like she like literally. I mean, his throat was cut. He was dead, like basically, or dying, and she was able to reverse that. It was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
We have, let's see, Jude says, we also need to talk about Rand, Matt, and Tom getting a family of farmers murdered. Oh, yeah. That's not good. That's right. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, by the fade, dude. Those fades are so scary, dude. The things like with no eyes.
Oh, yeah. They're
Oh
really
my gosh,
scary.
dude, the fades are so. Oh, that poor young girl that we met. You know, to think that she was like killed by a fade.
I know. It's no bueno. Let me see if I can find a picture of. I'm still trying to find Nynaeve doing her crazy cool. Nynaeve doing her crazy cool power, but I'm not seeing any. But
Oh no.
here from earlier, Braxton, you were talking this cool image of the false dragon wielding his power.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
the
he's pretty
weeds.
powerful.
It's so interesting. Like yeah.
So
Like,
what's the deal like though? So apparently, um, the like what we find out later is that like men were able to be Aes Sedais at one point as well because the previous dragon was also an Aes Sedai, but the Dark One corrupted their power, right? Like was able to corrupt it. So men now, whenever they wield the one power, it is going to make them crazy. Like the more they use it, the crazier they're gonna get. So Rand's gonna get like nuts, right? Like he's just gonna start getting crazier and crazier the more he uses his power.
So in the books, like when Moraine and Rand, when they all went to the Eye of the World, because it wasn't just Moraine and Rand, it was all of them went to the Eye of the World in the books. So in the Eye of the World, they found this like really lush like space amongst all the deadness, and it was because this person called the Green Man was there, and the Green Man just like I guess like radiated this energy, and they found a pool of pure one power male energy. And in that pool of one power male energy, there was the horn that they talk about later. The horn was in that like one the pool of one
Oh,
power. And so when Bran channeled in the books, he called upon that pure male magic, and that's how he wasn't corrupted and made up.
oh, okay. I like that. Wow, that pure male magic.
But there's no pure.
Sorry.
It's not that. It's just, at least not yet.
All I know is I'd love some of that pure male magic too. That's all. Anything else about the Dragon Reborn before we go on to the next episode? This is a fun discussion, guys. Thank you. I'm learning a lot about Wheel of Time. It's very cool. And thank
Yeah,
you,
I think
Jude. You're awesome too. Thanks for hanging with us, Jude and Blue. But anything else about the Dragon Reborn?
I just love that line. I think I'm trying to remember who it was that said it to Logain. I can't remember who, but someone said, "You know, you have this power," and along the lines of "you'll go crazy," which you were saying, and I thought, "Wow, that's really interesting." So, one of our characters, our characters, if any of our male characters get the power, then it would be really interesting to see them become crazy in their journey. But then the fact that Rand has this power is really interesting. What happens to him later on? I'm just disappointed because I don't think the actor can pull off that kind of depth. And I'm not being funny, but
no. I know. I
just
just think it's funny. You just don't think you don't have the confidence in the actor from what you see.
I don't think he's very he doesn't seem to act much at all. Like he just puts on this kind of sometimes like puppy dog eyes and kind of he's very stale and he doesn't really emote much in his movements or his eyes. His voice doesn't really changed tone much. He's very flat for me.
I guess what you're saying is you expected this Rand character to be more charismatic than what he actually is. That's interesting. I actually think the actor did a good job. Like he was mostly in the background and kind of like unassuming, which I think lends to us dismissing him and not like suspecting him of being the Dragon Reborn. And I thought he did a pretty decent job. I do see what you're saying. He's like a lot more broody than perhaps his tone seems to be broody throughout the whole thing, and I wasn't like a huge fan of Rand until the end though. I thought he did a great job fighting the Dark One. Like I thought when it came down to it, like the actor like did a good job of like being a good foil to the Dark One. But I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to look at him a little bit better. I admit most for me the standout of course was I think I was watching Moraine the most. Like she was like, the actor who plays Moraine was the one that like caught my attention the most, and I wasn't really interested in any of the five, to be honest, until the ending. Oh sorry, except for Nynaeve was cool too. But of that group, they were just kind of like, you're right, they were just kind of, all of them to me in my opinion were kind of like, they're supposed to be kids, I guess, so they were kind of like, like making mistakes and just like acting goofy and not like, not like adults maybe would. But you didn't even like at the ending. You didn't think he came through, Rand?
No, because he's going against Logain, who's this menacing character.
Who's going against Logain?
Oh no, he's going against
the Dark One.
The Dark One, and the Dark One was great. I don't think the Dark One was like an amazing actor or anything, but sorry to skip ahead, but when they're in that kind of dark, stony place, and they're facing off against each other, when Rand, you see Rand pushing all his power towards the Dark One, and then of course Moraine has that great moral choice of, does she kill Rand?
Dude, come on, dude! This is too juicy, dude. We gotta save it.
Okay.
Trek on the Tubes in the Odyssey said spoilers. Thanks, Toddy. I put up the spoiler warning in the banner. I forgot to do that earlier. But when you're having a full discussion about a season, you should expect spoilers. I don't know. I'm sorry. But thank you for telling us. And also, hey Jill, hey Starfleet Boy, I'd be here deleting bots for you, but haven't seen the show yet. Next time. Thank you. There's been a few. It's crazy. We've been getting these Russian bots lately. It's pretty fun, but it's nice of you guys to stop in. Sorry again. Thanks, Toddy, for pointing out the spoilers. It's a good point. I always like to put that in there. So let's move on to Blood Calls Blood, which is the next episode. We're almost at the end. Jeez. We're very close here. And the synopsis is: Perrin and Egwene run into a familiar face. Matt and Rand see strange ones. Moraine and Lan mourn their loss. So yeah, what happened in this episode? Do you remember, guys?
Yeah. So this is when Perrin and Egwene are caught by the children of the light, and this is where like he's when like Charvalon is like, "Hey, Egwene, either you're gonna channel or I'm gonna kill him," and he starts like slicing Perrin, and Egwene channels, but she just channels like a little far and like hurls it at him. And he's like, ha, 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 ha. But then, but somehow I don't remember now that they're able to. Oh, she's also able to use her magic to untie his hands.
Right.
So he is able to like get out and like attack Charvalon, and Charvalon is like, oh my god, because like Perrin kind of like his like eyes glow and he like gets big. So they escape. The wolves kill the brothers of the light, or the children of the light. But I still feel like Charvalda is alive. Egwene is able to escape with his ring of Aes Sedai rings. So that's nice. Um, and what else happened? Then they escaped.
We also get Matt and Rand arriving at the city. We get a bunch of people arriving at the city, right? We get the Aes Sedai arriving at the city with the false dragon. We get Matt and Rand arriving at the city, and then eventually we'll get. Anyways, so the city is called what? Tar Valon, and here it is. There's a volcano.
That's Dragon Mount. When the previous dragon, after he killed his family, he went to Dragon Mount, and like Ashamael, who is who's like a dark friend, took away his madness for a second, and so he could see what he had done, like killing his family, killing his court, and he just like he took in so much one power that he just like exploded and made that mountain.
Hey guys, Trek on the Tube is asking us, is it actually a good show or some sort of cheap Lord of the Rings? Everyone here thinks it's a good show, Toddy. It's not a cheap Lord of the Rings. Oh my gosh.
That's how I went into it, thinking, is it just going to be, like a cheap Lord of the Rings? And I was pleasantly surprised. I think
Yeah.
episode 4 is where I was really hooked.
Yeah, episode 4 was really good with the whole battle with the false dragon. To answer Jude's question, what did you guys think of Tar Valon as a city? I loved it. I thought it was very cool. I wonder where they filmed it, because it looked really. Either they built the sets and they were really good. Going back to Toddy, in all seriousness, there's a lot of similarities in the visual style to Lord of the Rings, but I think it's different enough that it feels like something else. Like, I mean, like, all those things. Wow. Based on the promo pictures alone, the costumes have the actors looking like some LARPers. Wow, Toddy.
Dude, don't bring that hate into this.
Yeah,
Question, dude.
Toddy,
This is
have
about
you?
love.
Yeah, and Toddy, have you ever LARPed, bro? Like, do you even LARP?
Did you notice that the overhead of Tar Valon looks like women lady parts? Like
What?
I just keep thinking that like it looks like
I need to
Is
find
it?
it. That looks like a dude's parts to me.
no, like
Yeah.
look at the overhead and the way that the water is shaped around it, just
Hold
like the
on,
overhead,
let me go here. Hold on. We have an overhead shot. 1 second. Let's see here.
It could just be me being like crazy and like, sexy
That's
mind.
okay. That's okay. I mean, like sometimes we see things.
But Tar Valon is beautiful. I thought the White Tower was so beautiful.
Yeah, and the shots in this show are really pretty. Here's another shot for Hater Toddy in the audience to look at. But yeah, I think that
Did you can't find the overhead shot? That's okay though. But in the books, the walls of Tar Valon are 50 feet high,
Oh,
and
really?
and they are made and they have additional strength because they're enhanced with the one power. And there are 6 gates into the city, like the gates over the water, and those entrances have wards over their entrances. And Tar Valon has been attacked 4 times, 3 times by false dragons, and 1 time by someone that I can't remember.
Oh, wow. Very cool. And this is where the Aes Sedai. This is their tower, right? The White Tower
Hmm.
over here.
This is the
So
one where Moraine said to uh, Naive that she didn't think she was ready for the White Tower, I believe.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is so interesting. Okay, so Jude is saying, did any of you guys catch Pad and Fane hanging out in the background in this episode? I did not, so that's really cool. Let's see here.
This must be when he stole the knife, because in episode 5, this is when Moraine takes the knife from Matt, correct?
Right, right. And takes the Well, is it the episode where she takes it out of him? I'm not sure. Toddy, each episode has $10 million budget per episode. It's a pretty big budget. I don't know what you're talking about. The city is canonically shaped like a vagina. You are correct. Oh wow. So that is correct.
I wasn't crazy.
You were not crazy. That was legit.
Mm,
Toddy is defending himself and saying, Braxton, I don't bring hate. I bring genuine questions. I'm trying to make up my mind about watching it. Yeah, your genuine questions are saying things like, hold on, is the show good or a cheap lore? Well, I guess it's not really a bad thing. It's just how we're interpreting it, Toddy. Whatever. Anyways, we're not gonna get. Toddy's distracting me. Stop it. Stop, Toddy. Stop distracting me. No, I hope you do watch the show. It's really good. I think you guys might enjoy it, especially if you enjoy fantasy type stuff. I was really into the show Legend of the Seeker. I don't know if you guys these shots you guys are showing look great. Oh, yay. Okay, cool.
Isn't it the Sisters of the IEL or something like that? Or no, Sisters of the something.
Well, Legend of the Seeker was this cool show about like magic in the world and stuff like that. I was watching Merlin. Merlin was a good show. I used to love those. So I love this kind of stuff. But this is the best. This is the high. I mean, we're gonna see this Lord of the Ring. Toddy's not wrong. Like when this Lord of the Rings show, also on Amazon, by the way, comes out, it's probably gonna blow this out of the water a little bit because if this has 10 million an episode, I'm sure that has like 20. It's like I think it's the most expensive show Amazon's made or something like that after The Expanse. But yeah, so that's gonna come soon. But I love that fantasy is like back, and this is like a big show. Like this show like really brings it back. Like there's a lot of good fantasy elements in this. Like a lot of stuff that was tickling my Dungeons and Dragons, buttons, and like I love the adventure, that they're going on and stuff like that. I'm very curious to see more, and yeah, it's pretty cool. So we also so Matt and Rand arrive in the city, and Matt's getting very sick. They get a hotel room, and then we meet that cool character. What is he like? The
Loyal.
What's that?
Loyal. The lion looking thing.
Yeah, like what is he? He's not.
He's an ogier.
And what is he?
An ogier.
Ogier, like an ogre, but not an ogre, but like an ogier. Yeah, that was a cool character. I liked it because that's the first like kind of non-human that we see, right? Like a fantastical kind of character. He's very cool. Like the makeup is very cool, and I thought he was neat how he like likes to take his time and all that stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I thought his hair looked pretty funky.
He looks like a tree to me. I don't know what about him. Like he just looks like made of wood in a weird way. You know what I mean? Like he's very like ancient looking. He's a very cool character. But yeah, he's interesting. And it's cool that he comes along for the journey. It's like they pick him up, but he's also very like well read, and he knows like a lot about history, I guess, of the world and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And there's like cool moments where like the way you have to talk to him and kind of convince him to go on your quest with you or whatever. It's like he's like, oh, you guys are always in such a rush and stuff like that. It's very cool.
Now, in my understanding, sorry.
He gave me a kind of Harry Potter vibe.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that.
The people who read the books said that that Loyal is like Ogier are long lived, but he's like a teenager. So how he seems kind of like unsure and stuff like that. He's not like a sagely Ogier. Like he might be 90 or something, but he's like a young Ogier.
Gotcha. Wherever they're filming this, it looks a lot like the set for Minas Tirith in Lord of the Rings. But here they are in their hotel room hanging out. This is a cool city. Like I would like to I like this style of architecture and like this whole like vibe, and I wouldn't mind living in the city. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, this is a really nice shot, and they're looking down and like they're bringing Logain into Tarvalon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, and this is the scene where like Matt thinks that Logain is looking up and taunting him,
Right.
but in
It's
actuality, Logain's not looking at him at all. It's like the knife.
the influence of the knife that we saw. Yeah, that was a cool thing. Here's the sad story that we get in this episode, which was heartbreaking, where this warder just couldn't go on without his Aes Sedai.
This episode ended. This episode began with the Aes Sedai funeral, and it ended with the water funeral. Blood calls blood.
Oh, here, I got that image up too, which was really good. Yeah, this was a really powerful scene. I like the way it was performed. And then just like there was a lot going on there, like how Moraine was kind of seeing what could happen when she could this happen? Will this happen to Lon and stuff like that? And as long as Nynaeve is around, I think he'll be fine.
The end of this, like when he yelled, when he yelled at the end, it reminded me of like when the Klingons yell when someone dies.
Wait, Braxton, you cut out for me. What did you say?
Oh no, I said when Lan like yelled at the end, it reminded me of how the Klingons yelled.
Oh yes,
when someone died.
Yes,
like,
that's true. Yeah, that was very good. That's a good point. Toddy's interested now. He's leaving. He doesn't want spoilers, so that's cool. We got him interested. So yeah, he's gonna watch it. Very cool. Earl Grey Trekkie, what were you gonna say?
I was just going to say the kind of chest, I don't know, ritual that
the
they
beating, like where they were doing this thing,
reminds me of Black Panther.
Oh yeah, it was very primal. What they were going, like the whole thing, it had a very like visceral and primal feel to it. But yeah, that was like a neat way to end this episode. What else? Happy love you guys. Happy New Year from Track on the Tube. Thanks for stopping by, Toddy. We really appreciate it.
Happy New Year, Toddy.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
All jokes aside, I always tease Toddy a lot. Maybe a little too much. But he's a good sport. I appreciate you. But yeah, this was anything else about this episode that you guys can remember, other than, well, of course we get the reveal. I think we talked about it, of course, but the reveal that Perrin is somehow connected to the wolves and can like and they'll come for him and stuff like that. So yeah, that was the only thing.
One little detail is that Nynaeve made like a sleepy time thing and gave it to the dude who killed himself, and the dude who killed himself gave it to Lan in his tea so that he could have like
so he could
a minute to like kill himself.
That's
know?
Right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So like Nynaeve like felt guilty about that.
Right.
I wonder if she ever told Lan the truth about that.
I wonder also, but that was a heartbreaking scene because like he just really was done. He just didn't want to.
I think I'd keep that from my man that I brewed the intoxicant that put him to sleep, like so his friend could kill himself.
You would keep that from him.
I think I would, dude.
Well, okay, so that's Blood Calls Blood. Let's see here. Next is the Flame of Charvalon.
Hot and sexy.
What was the? Let me pull up the episode synopsis for that one. It's Moraine faces the consequences of her actions. Matt faces the darkness in himself. Egwene faces the most powerful woman in the world. And that would be the Amyrlin seat. So this episode starts off with the flashback, right, of the current Amyrlin seat and how she comes into her power, right? Isn't that right?
Swan Sanche.
Yeah,
Swan Sanche, right?
Yeah, because the father's saying that it's going to be difficult that she has to leave, but it's her. I think he says something along the lines of it being her destiny to leave. It would be better. It's she has. I think he said something about her being special or having power, and and it's quite sad when she's on the just kind of sailing away, and I think she's standing up at this point, and he's looking back at her, and he'll probably never see her again. I thought that was a great way to open the episode. I was a bit confused at first. I was like, who are these characters?
So they dropped a seed in those scenes. So we saw Swan Sanche's humble beginnings as like a fishing girl, and then like the people, somebody ended up seeing her. They burned down the father's house. But did you see that like she like unties knots, like her
Right.
power? She figures out problems. I think that is gonna come back in later for us, like Swan Sanche, like she unties, not unbinds,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's very cool. That's very cool. Yeah, I like the character. I like that they showed her origin story. I thought that was very touching and sad. And again, just showing like how the world is like giving us a little more idea of like the world building, I guess, around this. And then of course, we'll see her. That was an epic introduction.
I
And
loved
Robbie
her.
and I, yeah, and Robbie and I know this actor because she played Queen Liz the 10th in Doctor Who in The Beast Below, which is the second episode of the 11th Doctor's first series, right? Series 5, yeah.
Yeah, she was fantastic though. All her. You saw in her eyes that she was kind of holding something back and that she was conflicted, but she just had to put on this guise of authority when she really cared about Moraine. I thought this was an amazing episode.
It was, dude. Like I loved when like she like comes in and she is like looking down and then she like looks up. You're like, oh wow. And I loved how, she's like, oh, like, why do you have this man chained? Like he has no power,
Right.
And
That
then
was great, yeah.
and he tries to like make her angry, but she's such like a wise, measured woman. He's like, like you won't get what you want. Like I won't kill you. Like
That was such a good scene.
we'll keep you here as an example.
Yeah, and he's like desperate for her. He's like it was good. It was like kind of like, oh no, honey, like no, 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 no. Like it was very good.
Look how breathtaking Moraine is in that dress, dude.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, my mom was saying, "Wow, Moraine looks really good in that dress."
Dude, Moraine was wearing the hell out of that dress, dude.
Now, going back to the previous episode, like she did not want him to be gentled, right? She wanted to see him in his full power. So she was kind of disappointed that they brought him back gentled, right? There was like a moment where she mentions that, I think, right?
I don't know.
Do you guys know, maybe Jude can help us out, but like, was there a reason why she would have had to have seen the false dragon in his full power? Maybe there's like a reason why, but yeah, he comes to her gentled, and so he has nothing nothing that like he can do. He's basically like stripped of his power.
And then Moraine, or not, and then Leandrin rats Moraine out. She's like, "Oh, what is this? What has this hooker been doing these 20 years out here on the street, not in the White Tower? Like, what are you up to?" And Moraine's like, "Oh, I cannot tell." And then, and then Swanshe's like, "Oh, okay, well, you got like, I'm gonna sentence you tomorrow morning." Those were tough to watch.
That's true. Judith pointed out, "This is my tower, my city, my world." That was one of her lines. It was really good. And then, okay, so this is something I missed, so I'm glad you pointed this out, which is she is punishing them because they gentled him without a trial. Law and order is everything to the Aes Sedai. So that makes more sense. EGT will be right back. guys. So yeah, that's cool. There's that scene. They're really good. There's really good drama between these two. I thought, and doesn't like Moraine just finally just like she's like, listen, I have something on you, like about this guy that you keep going to see or something,
That
right? And
man you've
then
been seeing.
that man you've been seeing. So feel free to talk about me, and I'll go ahead and like let people know what's going on with you. We
Mm-hmm.
also get I guess like the order, like the chief of their order, like the leader of the Blue Order, is like basically suggesting that Moraine needs to come back to the White Tower and settle down there because she's been traveling for like what is it, like 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
She's been out and about just like traveling, so she hardly ever like really comes back in to the tower. So now they're suggesting that like it's time to stop all that and just kind of like do, you know, whatever they do in the tower, I guess admin work. You know, like it's like Jude says Mean Girls White Tower edition. Yeah, it was, you can't, yeah, it's true, like you can't sit with us, not yeah, that kind of thing. And then this is the episode, right, where we get the reveal that Moraine and Swan are lovers.
Mm-hmm. So book readers were thinking that when Moraine went through the painting, that was like a dream world. Like they weren't actually meeting in like the same physical world that they were just in. That they're meeting somewhere else. You
Mm.
know, and I thought that was really cool because there's like dream shards in the book, and dream shards like you can access a space that's like not in the real world. Um, and somehow I had imagined that maybe like Moraine and Swan Sanche could have like met in that dream world like before now that it wouldn't have been so many years that it would have been separated. But maybe Moraine's on the road, like she can't like carry the like painting and like dream shards with her.
Jude says, "Hey Braxton, that's like season 2 stuff. Come on." Braxton is Jude. Let me tell you, Braxton is immersed. He is watching all the YouTube videos. I love it. He's our expert. After you guys are both our experts, actually, Jude and Braxton. So thank you for
Can we
hanging out.
see like the front of Swan Sanche? Like, do you like ha- maybe like another image where we can see what she's doing? Because someone said that like when Moraine came to her that she was like like untying a knot or something. You
Oh,
know?
really?
Uh huh.
Let's see if we can find an image for that. But that would make sense. That would be pretty cool
As a book,
from what you
another book
said.
spoiler is that Sawan Sanche at some point is stilled. You know, they take her power, and
Oh.
Nynaeve gives her her powers back.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Stilled. I like that. It's like, I love their like terminology. I can't find another image, but look, here's another. I think this is like a. I don't know if this is an actual shot or what. Yeah, this might be an actual shot from the episode when she's approaching her seat.
Hmm.
And she comes in.
Yeah.
What else happens in this episode?
Well, we found out they're lovers. From there, like Moraine, you know, Swan Sanche and Moraine are talking, and like Swan Sanche knows like what Moraine is doing, but they're like, oh, like people can't find out about this. If they found out about this, we would be stilled. So in the books, like what happens, like Moraine and Swan Sanche are younger girls, and they are like in a room with an old Aes Sedai who is a seer. Um, so she's old, she's not in great health, and like you know, she starts like you know channeling one power, and she sees that the dragon is being born like right now in this moment, and then like that just overcomes the old woman, and like she like dies. So they know like when they are like teenage girls that the dragon is being born right now. So
Mm.
like that's why Moraine has been out for 20 years because she's been out searching for that child, you know? So it's a thing that only her in the books. It's a thing that like only her and Swan Sanche know that the dragon has been reborn. So that's like context for their conversation that they're having. So Swan Sanche like knows, but she's like, okay, well, like they want to keep me here, but I got to go do this stuff, and like the only thing that you can do is to banish me. So Swan Sanche does.
And that's a powerful scene in this episode, which I loved. The whole like way they did it, like the eye contact, like the magic, like going over the rod to bind them. It was like all done just like very well. EGT, what do you remember about this episode? Welcome back.
I remembered it was either Moraine or Swan Sanche. That's how you say it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember one of them saying, "Get your head down," before they had that steamy scene that we didn't get to see.
Oh,
No,
kiss these floors or something like that.
I just thought they had great chemistry. For some reason, when a series has some kind of court or authority figure, that just really makes me entertained. I like that kind of dynamic in a show, even if it's just brief. So seeing Swan Sanche have to deal with Moraine and have to push her away was really interesting. And to just have that whole focus on her from the very beginning of the episode was great. I only wish we had maybe a bit more context for Moraine and Swan Sanche's relationship. I realize this is a TV show and maybe they do shorten things down. But I suppose I'm in the camp where I want as many seasons of this show as I can get, so I don't mind if they expand the seasons a bit, or make the story progress a bit slower. Just you saying about that, Braxton, because I felt like I was not missing something, but I felt like, oh no, now we've left her, and I wanted to see a bit more, maybe.
I totally feel like this was a dream world because like this, like her background here looks like her fishing hut, like with her father, but like a little like more feminine and dressed up, And I like how she's wearing her traditional like garb.
Yeah. I couldn't find like a shot that shows like what she's doing, like if she's unraveling a knot or not. So I apologize, Braxton, but I tried.
And so yeah, Moraine is cast out. The kids come and meet her, and they like jump into the portal, and then Matt stays behind because the actor left the show. Episode 6 was the last show that was filmed before.
Oh, the actor left the show.
Yeah,
yep.
I only learned. I learned that from because it's part of why I started to watch the show was Jessie Gender's reviews, and she had said that the actor had decided, so he wouldn't have left originally in the books, I don't think, and that was just something they had changed.
I wondered because it makes it look like he's gonna come back somehow, or like it's gonna come into play, but all they did was just write him off. So so I guess in the books he goes with them to the city that guards against the Dark One.
Yeah, he goes into the ways in the books. But yep, the actor didn't come back after the after shooting started post-pandemic.
Very interesting. I wonder if he'll come back for season 2, though. I wonder if they'll figure out a way to write him back in.
The character has been recast.
Oh, okay.
For season 2. Matt's been recast.
I heard about character recast, and I was like, is it Rand?
Look at you getting so excited about
the cruelty.
No one knows why the actor left. Super tight-lipped. He's been recast for season 2. Yeah, thank you. Oh, okay. So it'll be interesting to see who. Do you guys know who they recast him as? Let me see. Um, Let me see if we can
He
find
look
it.
he's younger than this current actor. Um, yeah, he looks more like a boy than this current actor.
Matt. Let's see. Matt's been recast by actor. Let's see. I see him. Yeah, he looks different to me though, than the actor they got to play him. But he's got the curly hair, so maybe they'll make him look more like that. But that's interesting.
Yes.
All right. So, sorry. Woo. Starfleet Boy just had a little allergy attack here. Moving on from this, yeah, at the end of this episode, they go through this thing, the portal, which was a very cool scene. And they head to the Eye of the World. They're heading to the Eye of the World.
Mm.
So the dark along the ways. Now this episode is crazy. This is like this kind of like they're going through this like what is it, like a passageway, like a caves, like what is it? What's going on?
So the ways, so the ways was created in the books. The ways was created by the male channelers as a gift to to the Ogier. You know, so for instance, in the land where the Ogier live, male magic users can't channel, so they don't have insanity. So like there were people that like as a so like the male channelers gave the ways to the Ogier so they could travel like easily, you know, as a gift to say thank you. You know, so that's like how the ways like came to be, you know, like um and I don't know where I was going.
Well, that's how we ended up in there. So that it's like a shortcut to get to the wall. You know what's it called, the
Caldor or something like that.
yeah, what is gosh, I
The
can't
Eye of the
remember.
World.
Yeah, but like the city, the city that's being held, that's holding back the Trolloc armies and everything. What is that city called?
So they were going to the Eye of the World, but then the Trollocs started to attack them, and so they had to like run out early. So the closest like portal was to Faldara. Yeah.
Faldara, yeah, that's what I was trying to remember. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's that scene on the bridge was really epic and tense. I mean, I thought the bridge, that kind of rocky bridge, set could have been in one of the Lord of the Rings films. It just looked amazing, and I thought it's so simple. You know, it's just they're going across this portal and through this bridge. But it was so cool because you had that kind of. It was almost like it was so dark, and then you had those flashes of almost lightning, and it was so loud. And then you had the Trollocs coming up from the bridge, and then they had to fend off the Trollocs and run to the portal, and that was so cool. And then one of the I can't remember which character. I think it was Moraine that noticed the Trollocs, and then she was like, "Oh no, we have to move." That was awesome. And then of course, the flames. It was just such a great atmosphere.
And then
And
what were
Egwene
they?
was like,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Egwene was like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to channel." And then we found out later that she didn't actually do it. But that's what
Right.
made like the things come after them. Like it's called like something chin chin ching ching chin. Like the little things that were attacking them.
Oh, the Black Wind.
Yeah, the
Was
Black
it
Widow.
right? The Black Wind. Oh, actually, Jude's asking us, what did you all think Loyal was hearing from the Black Wind? Oh, that's interesting. What did you guys think?
I don't know Loyal well enough. I don't know what he'd be afraid of.
He's probably afraid of rushing.
Was there some kind of voice that
Remember the
Royale was
Black
hearing?
Wind? Well, they all were. Like the Black Wind was
Oh,
surrounding them, and it was saying all kinds of things to them. Like what was it saying? It told Rand he was the Dragon Reborn. It told it was like giving Nynaeve like
She said the wind said, "Oh, they're all gonna die. You
right,
won't be
they're all gonna die. Yeah.
Oh,
It's just
just
like was
like your
telling you.
parents."
Yeah, it's supposed to be telling you like things that like that sound true, but they're probably not. They're like dark things or whatever.
oh,
So
we forgot something important.
oh,
I
what
think
was
it
it?
was episode 3 or 4. The bartender one. The bartender had that ability to see like fate. And
No,
she
that's in
saw.
That
this.
hasn't
That's
happened
in
yet.
this. That's in
Oh,
this
oh,
episode.
I'm getting so confused.
Yeah, you're thinking. Yeah, this is the episode where we'll meet the time. Sorry, the fortune teller.
Men.
Oh, right.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. She sees like she can kind of see images of their future, right? Like, and she sees Rand with a baby. What's that all about?
Oh God. Isn't that the scene, where he's fighting the Dark One, and then he goes into that kind of
Yeah,
dream
but
world?
she kind of sees their future, and she sees them holding a baby. So maybe that'll happen. I don't know. Maybe
Oh,
that's
okay.
just like foreshadowing, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
Men is one of Rand's loves in the books. When she said, "Oh," like later when she says, "Oh, like I see like 3 women," and like one of them is her, one
Mm.
of them is Egwene, and one of them is another character that I can't remember her name right now. I think her name is Elaine. And we
Oh,
see
very
another
interesting.
really powerful act by Nynaeve. Like when the Black Winds are overcoming them, she like goes out and like I feel like the love explodes out of her heart and it like shields all of her friends
Yeah,
until
that's really cool.
Moraine can like channel the gate open and then they all run out to the safety of Faldara.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a really good scene. And then we meet the Faldarans, which are pretty interesting as well. And at first they're like, he's like pretty disrespectful of Moraine, who is just trying to help and like warn them that that's it. Like this is it. Like there's no turning back. The Dark One's gonna breach the gate, and the city's gonna be overrun. And this is the final time. Like this is it. This is the final battle, I guess. Right.
Hmm.
And then we meet this character. The what was her name again?
Her name is Men.
Men. Yeah. So that was cool. That was the one you were talking about. Olga Trekkie, who could see their futures or could see projected futures, perhaps.
Hmm.
And then, anyways, in this episode, we get a lot of stuff happens where basically there's a lot of drama basically because they start finding out that like it's in this episode that they start finding out that like she's known this whole time that like they all have to go in but not all of them will live to come back. Like if they go and face the Dark One, only the dragon will survive, everyone else who goes will die. And that's what kind of prompts Rand to admit that he's the dragon to Moraine, and then Moraine and he go off on their own, leaving her warder behind, and she severs her tie with him. And they also they're and leaving the rest of them behind so that they're safe, but they're there to defend the city. And then in the next episode, we'll get Braxton's favorite scene, but I won't tell you about it right now.
Is is
Well,
is this is the episode that kind of had that like um that kind of love um kind of conflict, romance conflict um between Rand and Egwene and
Perrin.
and Perrin.
yeah,
Was it with Perrin, right?
they
Yeah.
were they were in the rooms and no, and Nynaeve was kind of
This is the 90
stalking.
push up on it episode, dude. She was
Oh
Nynaeve was
standing
yeah, she
there for
did
stalking
like
push up on it.
15 seconds, like, ooh, do you want me to leave?
She was
Yeah,
very
that
funny.
was
It's good to
cheeky.
see. Yeah, it was cheeky.
And then
um,
and then when she said that, like it cuts. She's looking inside the room, and then it cuts straight to like just after that, him behind her, like it's really good editing, and then he's so welcoming. Actually, it's one of those scenes where you think this isn't going to go well for her, but then he's actually just really nice and welcoming, and they're all kind to her inside that kind of room area. That was a really sweet scene, even if you shouldn't do that, Oh, should I leave? It's cheeky behavior, but it was fun to watch.
No, but she was also like, she did say, should I? She did say, should I leave? Right? Like she was kind of like there was a little permission. I feel like
didn't she enter without permission his room and kind of watch the? I don't know.
I don't remember it being too. I remember being like, yeah, just being that she was very like. I didn't think of it as like inappropriate. I just thought she was very. She really wanted to hook up. She was just very. Yeah, she was like. She really like. She was like. I'm gonna give this my best shot, like, and like, we'll just see what happens.
Dude, it isn't appropriate to walk in someone's bedroom without knocking. But she stood there for 15 seconds and she asked if he wanted her to leave, and he said no. So fine.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
So,
she did ask.
But I loved how long she stood there. Like they were like standing there looking at each other.
It was very tense. It was very romantic. I mean, it's very sexy.
Yeah.
Do you think she thought that she had a chance because Moraine was gone? She thought, this is my opportunity. Since Moraine's with Rand.
Well, they didn't know at this point.
Okay.
They were planning to leave. Everyone was planning to leave in the like. Remember, they had the whole kind of confrontation where when they finally, when she finally tells them what's up, and she basically it's Nynaeve who's the most against it. She's the one who's kind of like, that's enough, and then. That's when Perrin gets found out, I guess, like in that one scene, right? Like where she's like, stop arguing. Yeah, I forget what it was, but like
stop fighting over like she's something to be
won. Yeah.
Oh, that was a great scene because I thought that at first I was thinking this is the episode before the finale, and this I don't mind romance, but this whole fighting over Egwene was just kind of it brought the show down a bit for me, but then when Nynaeve said that, I realized, it does have a point. This is trying to push this behind us.
Exactly. What was Lan's? Jude's asking, what did you think of Lan's dinner party? What was that? I can't remember the dinner party.
When his adopted family took him in, they called him like by.
Oh yes, that was really. I loved all that, and also the reveal that Lan's a prince. That he's like, like his people were. What is that rot called? That like the blight took over and killed his people, and like. I guess it makes everyone kind of go mad or crazy, right? Like, or kind of possesses them or whatever, or just kills them like as like a disease or whatever. But all that stuff was really good. I loved it. I thought it was very cute. I like how she's She's like a stalker, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it,
that's how I felt.
Yeah, she was totally like following him around.
Yeah, she followed him through the hallways when he was basically. It seemed like he was going to bed, and she. Just followed him into the room without even. I don't think she knocked, did she?
Well, he surprised her. He noticed her outside, and he comes out. And he's like, "Do you want to just come in?" Which I thought was very good. All of that was great. I love that. I love the two of them and how they found each other, and that was really cute. How like his adopted family was like. It felt really like nice. Like they've been waiting for this. Like they've been waiting for him to find some happiness and like. And I also like how he was like, he's very like witty, but he's like dry, but he's very funny. Like how, the dad is like, oh, she's so gorgeous. And he's like, oh, I hadn't noticed. Of course he noticed. But, like, it was just like funny stuff like that. That was all very sweet. That was a really nice part of the episode. It took me out of the scary tenseness of what's to come.
Yeah, that caught you up on who Lan is, that he's like, a prince with no kingdom, and like that's why he was, a boy with that family. That's why he like devoted his life to Moraine as a warder. He also has like this like oath that he is gonna like kill the Dark One and avenge like his kingdom. So like he's a man like at war. You know.
Yeah, he really wants to be there at the last battle and be there with his Aes Sedai. Had he been there, would she have lost? Well, we'll talk about that in the next episode. Is there is there anything else about this episode that y'all want to talk about or remember before we go to the finale?
I thought I just loved Nani for breaking up, uh, the really
That whole thing.
childish fight between Rand and Perrin because she made a good point. They were behaving as if she was property. The way they were arguing over her, um, and I think this was a great character episode for pushing us into the finale. Um, because I think you need something a bit lighter or a bit more insightful into the characters before you go full blown into the tense epic finale. And I like that we got more from what's his name, that's kind of like Moraine's sidekick that Naive was kind of flirting with.
Land.
Yeah, because I didn't feel like I knew him that much until this episode. So I think this was some much needed character development. It was good.
Oh, thanks for reminding me about this, but was that this episode or was that the next episode? Lady
That
killing
is
everyone in
the
this.
car.
That scene was one of the best, and Jude saying best scene in the series so far. Yeah, it was that. Do you remember that scene? It was so good. The fight scene and like how she was pregnant with Rand and like that's like the
Oh, that
dragon's, like that's the dragon's mom right there, bro. Like she was not giving up. It was like
That
crazy.
scene is called "The Blood Snow," and that takes place on Dragon Mount. Like it was
I
very
said
impactful how that one, how like the last dude like took the baby rather than kill her and the baby. I mean,
I predicted that the baby would die before we saw uh, her being stabbed because I thought, oh, well, no, I kind of went two ways because I was watching it with my mum and I was like, we were both saying she was pretty epic in her fighting while she has a baby in her stomach, and I was like, this is the start of the episode, and um she's got a baby in her stomach, and she's fighting these people
I
with
know it was badass.
swords. I feel like she's
Mhm.
probably going to be killed, or her baby's going to be stabbed. And then, unfortunately, it was true, and that was such a heartbreaking moment where she was kind of
Mhm.
leaning against like I think it was like a stone or some kind of rocky area, and she was covered in blood.
Mhm.
That was horrible, really,
The
to
Mhm.
watch.
the greatest thing about this scene is like you felt the actor is a stunt person, I think, like a famous, like I forget, someone was saying it's like a very famous stunt person, but you could see the desperation of like a mother trying to live for her child. It was just, yeah, you're right, it
Mhm.
was like it was so good as far as a fight scene goes, but it was also very heartbreaking. And yeah, it was very intense. Like I really didn't know
Yeah.
how, the show in this scene I felt like elevated past, like, someone was saying earlier that the show has elements of camp to it, perhaps a little bit,
Mhm.
like there's a little bit of that, to it. But this to me was like as good, if not better, than anything I've seen on Game of Thrones, on anything on TV as far as an action set piece goes. This
Yeah.
was phenomenal. I remember, I think I
Yeah.
messaged you, right, Braxton? I was like, holy shit, that fight scene. Like, it was crazy. It
And
was
the
cool.
blood snow was amazing, dude. I agree.
Yeah, so that's a good thing to end on for the dark along the ways. Now, I guess we will move on to the final episode, which is called "The Eye of the World." So what happens in the Eye of the World is basically For 20 years, Moraine has dreamed and worked towards this moment, but she can't stop the Dragon Reborn from seeing the appeal of the dark.
Mm.
That's the synopsis.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
anyways, go ahead, Braxton.
Oh no, I was going to give a synopsis. You go ahead.
No, I'd like you to do it.
Oh no, so I was going to start by saying like, oh, like what happens in this episode? So they, her and Moraine and Rand go into the eye of the world. You know, like they face the Dark One.
Which is where the Eye of the World is where the Dark One was defeated last time, right? That's where the Dark One's imprisoned, basically.
Mm-hmm. And so some book readers are thinking that this person is actually a Shamael, one of the Forsaken, and not actually the Dark One, but we don't know yet. But yeah, so Rand like does his thing. Like there's like a few battles going on. There is like the physical battle against the Trollocs who are invading Faldara. You know, the king and the queen like both take a position, like the queen on the inside, just in case like the men can't hold the Trollocs.
Which they do. They fail. It's up to the queen, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there's like
your favorite scene.
Oh, that scene was so good.
Mm-hmm. So there's like A plot, B plot, and C plot. There is Rand against Ashamael. It is the women against the Trollocs, and then it is Padden Fane, like doing stuff like inside of Faldara.
Basically, the breach of Faldar. Yeah, exactly right. Age of Legends cold open. Is Age of Legends a video game? I haven't played. I think it is, right? Like,
this is when we see Luz Theron talking to like the old Armelin seat, and we see the futuristic city.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So we saw what happened.
Age of Legends. Oh, I gotcha. Age of Legends. Okay, that makes more sense.
And the Aes Sedai leader had told Luz Theron, "Oh, don't go and try to seal the Dark One in there because he's gonna mess some stuff up." And he doesn't listen, and the men got tainted.
They got tainted. Yeah, that's sad. Okay, cool. Yeah, so great finale to the series. Like, just. I think they like pulled out all the stops for this because like the displays of magic were on point, the drama was on point. Like, so how did you feel about the way that the first season ended? Like, how do you feel like with where we are?
It was so epic. I mean, I loved that Rand was with Moraine going through this kind of all these dead like trees. It was like it was like the woods basically, but all the trees were dead, and Moraine was saying, "Be careful not to touch, the area surrounding him." And then he had that kind of, there was that sequence where I think he believed he saw the Dark One, but he was actually dreaming.
Where he stabs Moraine. Oh my god!
Yeah, I thought she was dead. I was like, oh my god! I was
so freaked out in that scene. I was like, is this what's gonna happen? Like, don't.
I was like, no.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, that was crazy. But I liked how we finally met the character, the Dark One, like as a person, not like this like flaming eyes character. And I thought he was really interesting. He was very like, he was a good foil. Like, he was very menacing, but like, he was very like manipulative, and I think the actor pulled it off. Like, and I feel like he was doing a good job. Like, the actor who plays Rand was doing a good job, like conveying like how hard it is to like kind of resist the temptation of going into of like listening to him and using the power
in the books. So the reason why book readers think this is Ashamael and not the Dark One is because like the main disciple Ashamael of the Dark One in the books, like he comes to people in dreams, and we're seeing Ashamael come to people in dreams.
Okay.
So that's why they think it. The actor who plays Ashamael is so handsome. He's strikingly handsome.
Oh yeah,
You
I'm trying
know?
to pull him up.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, damn, look at that, like, ooh, tempting fruit. Um, but yeah, the dream sequence where he's showing Rand what he can have, and then like he's showing Rand like what his true desire is to be with Egwene, and
And
he's like, oh, like Egwene wouldn't want this. Like, no.
they basically kind of say at the end like that wasn't that Moraine is speculating with Lan that this was not in fact the last battle.
Just the first.
Yeah, that's what she said. That was, yeah, I got chills.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think Rand Rand won, or did Moraine and Swan get played?
I think Moraine and Swan got played because that rock was broken, so it means that like, you know, like the seal is broken. You know.
That's not a spoiler. Jude honestly doesn't know. Yeah, the seal or whatever was broke. That thing was broken. The crystal, right? Like the crystal or whatever. And yeah, I wonder. Yeah, now that you brought up the idea that that's not the dark one, it kind of makes me more excited because I was like, that was a little too easy.
Yeah.
Like not easy. It took a lot of effort on Rand's part, but it did like end a little abruptly and just kind of like. I was like, oh, wait, no, that can't be it. Like, there's got to be a little bit more or something like that. So that's a good point.
Oh, and another thing about Ashamiel in the in the books, Ashamiel is like he's not like calm and stuff. He's like insane because he's like a male magic user. So he's just like nuts and batty.
Which he kind of conveys. I feel like there was a little bit of that come through, at least for me. I don't know. He didn't come across as not calm, but like deranged. Not like in he did seem like deranged. I don't know. I'm trying to find a picture of him. It's very hard to find one.
And he sealed Moraine's magic. Like he didn't like take the magic out of her. He like put something into her, and then he like did something with his hands at the end where he was like he tied it off. Like he like put a seal on her magic, and he like tied it off. He was like, oh, like you can touch it, but you can't access it. And so,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was really cool because then Moraine turns all that dark. She has to kind of take all that darkness in and then turn it back light, and that seemed to really exhaust her.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, but Moraine had a fail-safe, dude. She had that knife to his throat, dude.
I know, she was ready.
Yeah.
She was gonna kill Rand.
I was hoping he would die.
Yeah. What's the story with this like this little, what was it called? The thing that he had, the little figurine that had the power of like,
oh yeah.
It's an Ongrail.
An Ongrail, like, so a bunch of male magic users put all their power into that so that it could amplify Rand's own power, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, like 1,000 times.
Like 1,000 times. I don't know. I don't know if Rand is the dragon. Now I'm trying to think about it.
Rand is the dragon in the book, so he has to be.
Oh, he has to be. Okay, never mind. You're like, don't trip, Starfleet boy. Don't trip.
And look at the corruption. You see the taint, dude? Don't you see the taint in there?
Yeah, I do see it.
The white magic.
Yeah.
I think that's cool, dude.
Yeah, it's very cool. Let's see. Do I have another picture of?
It's going to be really interesting to see how Rand progresses in the next season. What kind of, if he has any trauma, or just to slowly see him go crazy. If that's how his arc's going to go, and he seems to be on his own, which is interesting. It's kind of sad, really. I mean, I don't like him as a character, but it is sad that he did this great feat with Moraine, and now Moraine just has to leave him because he's going to become crazy.
Well, book 2 is the hunt for the horn. So the thing is, in book two is like the characters and including those people are chasing Padden Fane, who has both the dagger and the horn of Valyr.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So Rand, in the books, Rand does not leave his group. He stays with the group on the hunt. So I think he might get back together with them, and they're all going to be after Pat and Thane.
Interesting.
Oh,
Uh,
I just assumed because he was on his own that it was because Moraine had to distance herself from someone who would become crazy. Or am I getting it wrong? Will he not become crazy? I just thought because he was male and he had power,
I
he
think
would.
if it all depends how much he uses it, right? Like it's like every time they use it, they like go deeper into. So if he doesn't tap into it, oh no, Braxton was saying like he won't because he is the dragon, so he won't,
Oh, okay.
right?
Well, that's in the books. Who knows how they'll change it? But he left because he's afraid that he'll hurt them.
Right.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
he's like, I want to be by myself because I don't want to hurt them because I love them. The last dragon killed his whole family, and he doesn't want to.
Oh, Jude's pointing out the dragon will still become crazy if it's a man. So yeah, so it could still happen. That could still happen to him. Here's another scene. So that's interesting that the thing has a very well known symbol to us, which is the symbol of balance between the yin and the yang.
Hmm.
So I wonder what that is. That something that do you know of that comes over from the books?
Not that I know of, but if this is the third age of Earth, that could simply be something that is left over from the first age, which is now. You know?
Oh, we're the first age?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes more sense now. Oh, so this is like, oh, that's right. That's right. This is the future. I forgot about that. That's like that's one of the cool twists about it. I forgot about that.
Hmm.
There's in this one season. There's more for me to kind of have to analyze and understand than I feel like I did when watching Lord of the Rings. It's a very different power balance, and it's very interesting that the good can become corrupt. Um, it's just really interesting. I loved that scene when I think it was the Trollocs that were going across that wide open space towards the Queen and Nynaeve and Egwene, and that scene and how many Trollocs there were all go running towards those characters felt like it could have been a Lord of the Rings scene with the orcs, in battle. It was just such a wide scale, brutal, bloody event.
Oh, and that one, the queen was not playing around at all. She basically drained everyone. Like she set them on fire. She burned them
Yeah,
out. Like like she was
her
like,
eyes
and
started burning, and that
and
was
it's very
yeah,
yeah. And Nynaeve's last act is to save Egwene, and then Egwene turns around and saves Nynaeve. I thought that was very cool. Like that they could do that. That's what I'm saying. Like there's something interesting about the five together. They have like it seems like they have like a maybe that when they come together they could be like the ultimate dragon or something. I don't know, something I feel like that's going to come into play somehow, is that like them working together and combining all of their different special abilities somehow. Could you imagine like, you know, could you imagine like hundreds of thousands of wolves, like, or well, I don't know if there's that many, but just like yeah, it was cool. But that scene in particular was great, and it was so beautifully done. Like, it looked horrific. Like I was like,
yeah.
it's pretty cool, like how they did it.
Hadden
I
Thane did tell them. He did tell Perrin in the throne room after he stabbed Loyal. He said, "Oh, like I didn't come to kill you guys. Like I came to bring you to the Dark One, and like all five of you have a role to play."
Oh, right. Yeah, he
Mhm.
does say that. He prophesizes that. That's true.
And so the extras are really important to watch with this show because it catches you up on background. So I watched an interview with like the head makeup designer, and they were saying that they had like made Nynaeve up, like when she took the burden from Egwene. she was not actually dead. That's not what they were trying to communicate to us. They were trying to communicate to us that she was really, really gravely injured. Like they tried to make her look less burned out than the others did because to say that like she wasn't actually dead. Like so like Egwene didn't bring her back from the dead. She was just so gravely injured and
She
like
healed her. Okay.
and so Egwene's like great power like in channeling her innate power plus her sadness like was able to like give Egwene back like her health.
Right on. Let's see here. We got another Russian bot. No, this time it was in Russian. Jude says, in the books, people are terrified of the dragon because they know he's going to go nuts. And then also, I love the burnout scene and that she can't let go because she's so high on it. Yeah, she was like so... Yeah, it was crazy. She was like so...
I can't let go. I've never felt all this power.
It was so sad though because they were all working together, and then I was kind of shocked that when they started dropping down dead, and they had kind of almost gouged out, burned eyes, and you can see the eye sockets, and it's so disgusting. Yeah, it really impacted me when Naive seemed to be dead, because I thought that's going to be a shame because she had such passion in the way the actress portrayed Nynaeve. But then I thought, oh, that could be really interesting because then Egwene is going to have to, maybe she'll have some kind of trauma going into the next season. But then she brought her back, and that was awesome.
Speaking of the next season, so we defeat this guy who supposedly is the Dark One, but may not be. We have Rand go off on his own. We have the sacking of the city and the stealing of the horn and the knife. We have, our main guys are all at least alive, if not in trouble. And then they give us these bitches at the end, and what the heck's going on here? Like, what is all this? Like, so there's an invading force, right? Like, there's another force that's coming in or something. Like, who are these guys?
And there was a girl on the island, and the waves came in, and she drowned, I assume. That was pretty sad.
Oh wait, what was that?
Those are the Sean Chen.
There was a girl on the beach, and their power from the ships, they kind of conjured up the waves.
Oh, right. No, but we don't know what's gonna happen to her because whoever that is, maybe she stops it or something. I don't know.
She could be a channeler.
She could be a channeler. Yeah, like who knows what's gonna happen? Yeah, that was a good ending.
So those are the Sean Chen. The women who have the gold things in their mouths, those are channelers. In the books, the Sean Chen keep channelers in chains, and they don't allow them to speak and communicate because they think that they're evil. So they just use them for their own purposes.
Oh, interesting.
So rather than have those women in chains, because that's not modern, they probably said, okay, well, what's something that can symbolize chains?
And
so we'll put these things over their mouths.
It's a really cool looking design. I mean, like it was a really neat new kind of like thing to introduce as like a little teaser of like what's gonna come in, season 2. Like it seems like the world's gonna get like a lot bigger, like in a sense. Like now we have this other group that's coming in, and that you're right with the tidal wave that they create and stuff like that. So yeah, we did it, guys. Anything else you guys want to talk about this last episode?
I have been loving The Expanse, but this first season, and this is a completely radically different show, but I've been enjoying this show a lot more than the latest season of Expanse, which I've thoroughly enjoyed throughout 5 seasons, is it now?
6, we're on the 6th season for the Expanse, the final season.
Do you feel the same, Starfleet Boy?
Yeah, I'm into the show. I had a little trouble with the first few episodes. Like, I didn't know where it was going, and I thought it was maybe like, I guess like maybe I was watching it like too late at night or something, and so I was just like, a little tired or whatever. But after the gentling of the false dragon scene, and the like, again, just like these kind of like I'm like Braxton. I'm into the powerful acts of magic. I love witches. I love wizards. I love all that kind of stuff. And so I really appreciated when the show started doing more of that. And yeah, it's pretty rad.
I can't remember the last fantasy series I saw before this, so it's been such a welcome show because I've really missed that genre because I've just been watching a lot of like straight sci-fi, not really fantasy. I think the last show I did watch that was fantasy was probably Merlin, and that was a while ago. And then before that, I can't remember any fantasy show I've watched, so
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
just been unique, really.
Game of Thrones kind of filled that niche, and I think this show, it like goes further. Like Game of Thrones took a whole season before it started like really showing the fantasy aspects, like the more magical aspects of it. And I like that this show like doesn't waste time and it goes right into it. But yeah, I just like the story of the Aes Sedai. I'm really attached to the character of Moraine. I love Lan. Like all the characters like are interesting, but the mains, the ones that are not the ones that are the mains of this season are very interesting, and I think we'll see a lot more. We'll see the five come into more prominence next season, and yeah, there's a lot of cool, exciting things. I don't want to speculate too much about what goes on. I think I might start checking out the first book and see how it goes. But I'm also content. Like sometimes I just like watching a show, like and just seeing what they're gonna do without expectation, without knowing too much about the book. So I'm really excited for what season 2 holds. Jude is saying, this has been a blast. Where do you guys think all the characters are going in season 2? Yeah, let's do a little speculating before we head out. Braxton, do you want to start?
Yes, it is. I think it's going to be book 2. I think it's going to be the Hunt for the Horn. Um,
Well, someone told me that this is the first 3 books, so it would be book 4, 5, and 6, I guess, for the next season. Like,
I don't
do you
think
think?
so because
Oh,
the Eye of
really?
the World is book 1, and
Right.
it's taking from books that are later. They're taking character development from books that are later,
Gotcha.
but primarily it's just book 1. And book 2 is like I forget what it's like. It's like something about the Hunt for the Horn, something like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The Horn of Baelier. So we know that Pat and Fane has it. So I think that we're going to be hunting for Pat and Fane, and we're going to meet other allies. I think that at some point we're also going to go to the White Tower for Egwene and Nynaeve um, to um, to train. Um, so yeah, but I think it's going to be the Hunt for the Horn. We're going to be like after Pat and Fame. We're going to catch back up with Matt. I think it's going to be
Cool.
fun.
What about you? What are your expectations, Earl Grey Trekkie? Also, Jude is telling us, don't read the books. It's more fun watching you guys when you don't know what's coming. All right, I will. Well, I won't do it,
Well,
but
by the time I do read it, will be probably after the next season's come out. Just because I have so many, I have a whole big list of books, and I'm nowhere near finishing any of them. So the Wheel of Time books will be on my list, but it's going to be a while before I actually get to them. I don't really have any expectations because I've not read the books. It's kind of a cop out answer. I feel a trust in the show. I'm so glad that I I watched your stream when you were just showing images. I think you were at the third episode that time, with Wheel of
yeah.
Time, and I was like, okay, I'll give this a go, and it's just been so fun to watch.
Oh, see,
And
Starfleet Boy does something good.
yeah,
It helps people get into
Mhm.
shows. It's cool.
and is the Lord of the Rings show this year?
No, I don't know. Actually, it's a good question. I think it's
Mm.
2023. It might be this year. Actually, you might be right. If it is, I'm excited.
Season 2 is already they've been filming season 2 since July.
Of this, so that's cool. Yeah, Jude's pointing out that season 2 is supposed. So Braxton's right. It's supposed to be a book 2 and 3 smushed together. So we'll see book 2 and 3 smushed together. And then finally, Blue is saying, I've had you guys in another tab while working, and it's been much fun listening to you guys. Oh, thanks, Blue. Thanks,
Thanks,
Jude and Blue.
bro.
You guys have been both wonderful for sticking around. Braxton and Robbie, do you guys have anything to promote or any final closing things to say?
This has just been a great discussion talking to both of you. I don't think I've been on many streams with Braxton, so it's been great interacting with you about the Wheel of Time.
Yay, I love it.
Likewise, Robbie. I think the same thing. It's been wonderful to chat with you. This
Thank
is
you.
one of my and Starfleet Boy. It's always wonderful to chat with you. This is probably the most interesting show that I think that I've watched in a number of years, and the reason I say that is because I was watching the episodes from week to week, but then I've been watching so many YouTube videos about the lore of Wheel of Time. So I'm just like way into it. Yeah, total thumbs up from me.
Yeah, I give it a thumbs up too. Season one was outstanding. If I had to give it a rating, I would say it's like a 10. But I always say that. I'm the worst. I can't give I can't give good ratings. We'll have
I
to
feel
wait
like
for...
I feel like I give a fair result to
Yeah,
most
so
shows,
what
and
would you give?
I would say this is a 10. So
Oh
I don't
wow,
think you're
okay. So yeah,
yeah.
nice. Yeah, you guys are way better. Oh, and Jude says you guys crushed it. Made my Sunday. Oh, Jude, thank you.
Oh,
That's so
thanks,
nice.
you.
Um, well, happy New Year. So, this was like a cool special we did. We're trying to do more of these, so I appreciate that you guys really wanted to talk about Wheel of Time because it is nice. The Starfleet Boy After Dark channel is meant for like everything else, not just Star Trek. So I really appreciate that you guys gave your time and your thoughts. I think that we really covered a lot, and obviously Jude was happy, so that makes me happy too. Next week on Thursday, we're going to be talking on the Starfleet Boy main channel. Star Trek Prodigy is coming back, so we're going to be talking about that. And then Saturday, we're returning at 3 p.m. with our TOS discussions, and we'll finally get back to And the Children Shall Lead. And Fridays, sorry, you can check out Starfleet Boy After Dark, but also check out Text Track, who does a really good breakdown, and he's going to do Prodigy as well on Friday. You can check out Urga Trekkie. I think we're resuming next week on Saturday as well, right after the Starfleet Boy TOS discussions. You can go over to his channel and watch our Doctor Who discussions, and we've been waiting a long time. What are we on? Like, what's the episode
Silence of
we're
the
on?
Library.
Silence of the
And
Library. Oh
hopefully we'll
yeah.
have Marcel on.
Oh yeah, you gotta we'll have to like see if he's available because yeah, that's a great episode. I've been excited to talk about that episode. It's like one of the most epic episodes of Doctor Who. And then you can see Braxton. I'm so fortunate you can see him on this channel too. Sometimes he appears on Starfleet Boy After Dark. Sometimes he appears on the main channel. He's just a part of our family, as is Robbie. So I'm glad you guys were here. So live long and prosper, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And I don't know why we're doing this. What would we do? What would be a good sign off for?
What's
For
some kind of
what is it that they say?
we'll
May the
channel the
light
power.
may the light give us strength.
Yes, may the light give us strength, and we're all gonna just do our cool, like, wielding power. Here we go. All right, so see you guys.